welcome back to Worth Weekly News. This week, there's a lot of whispers on when the dev blogs for the 1.95 patch are supposed to come. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, because last year, patch 1.85 had its first dev blog on the 23rd of November, and itself was released on the 17th of December. If that were to repeat itself, we could expect 1.95 dev blogs to be coming, as they don't do dev blogs on weekends, so perhaps Monday, maybe even before this video is out, depends on how long it takes me to make, we should be starting to see some dev blogs. Now, if we've looked back a little bit farther, 1.75 came out on the 19th of December, and its first dev blog was on December 2nd, and the one prior to that, 1.65, was released on the 20th of December. However, its first dev blog was on the 10th of November. Now, the situation surrounding these dev blogs is much different than the current one we have. 1.73 came out not even a month before the dev blogs for 1.75 came out. Those patches were very close together. And 1.65's dev blogs were slammed together with closed beta naval stuff. But generally, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're probably going to see dev blogs Monday, if not Monday, most likely Friday, or maybe even earlier. Sometimes I like to do things on Tuesdays. Now, what's going to be in those dev blogs, you could probably take some notes on last year, 1.85, and see how they did theirs. The first dev blog was of a new Italian tank that you could pre-order, and they also re-advertised the two existing Italian tanks that they had announced a year prior. So my feeling is that we're going to see a similar situation where they're going to talk about the existing pre-order packs for the Swedish tech tree, and they're going to announce a new one. That's just my assumption. Probably something rank 3, as the Simavente 10525 M43 was also a rank 3, opposed to the P40 Liencio, which was only rank 2. On some other things that we're going to see, well, I couldn't really say precise vehicles because I don't know the Swedish Air Force that well, though I have done videos in the past on some possible vehicles that we could see based on community-made tech trees. Something else that we could see in the future, maybe not 1.95, but in the future, quote from the store team dude, in which he states that the Chinese tree might include some North Korean / Vietnamese vehicles in the future. Now, actually, here's an interesting fact, is the Type 65 SPG is actually a North Vietnamese vehicle, although I've read that some believe it was constructed in China, which kind of makes sense because Vietnam was busy being bombed to oblivion. Kind of hard to build things when everything's blowing up. Other Vietnamese vehicles, I actually kind of would not be so for them being in the Chinese tree. As many people may not know, after the Vietnam War, China and Vietnam went to war, but it wouldn't be the first time that guys decided to shove two nations that didn't like each other into the same tree. Something that some people thought was coming, but it doesn't seem that way. The War Thunder Facebook page posted an image of a T44 that looked to have some sort of net around its turret. This led many to hope that Gaijin was going to add a net decal so you could apply to your tanks for a net or a meshed camo. This led some to ask some questions. Primarily in this situation, DQ Tran asked, whoa, where did the netting comes from? Player created skin. Similarly, players added Zimret to German machines where needed, tread to tires, redo track surfaces, and other small details. These are, of course, 2D applications, but were done by a talented artist, will appear almost indistinguishably from 3D on the model. Now, upon hearing this, I decided to check over the T44 skins that were on the live page, and I unfortunately could not find this one with the net on it. Although upon examining the image, it does indeed look two-dimensional, though very deceiving. Personally, I really hope that this is some sort of accidental image leak, like Gaijin did with the Apache, as being able to apply a net to your tank would just look awesome. But I'm not going to get into the grand conspiracy game. It wouldn't be the first time a custom skin was used in one of these social media posts. Another interesting image fell upon my Discord DMs of looked like a tribal class facing off with a sea dragon. This image also accompanied the War Thunder logo, website URL, and was posted by an artist who has made images for Gaijin for War Thunder events in the past. Now, I would really love for this to be an upcoming event where you fight dragons with your boats, but I'm pretty sure it's just the artist having a bit of fun, as he has made plenty of other images with the War Thunder logo and URL that have little to do with what actually goes on in the game. What I think is more interesting in this artist's latest works is the SnowRunners game art. I didn't know they were making a sequel. Of the many things that we expect and hope for in the next patch, one thing that we should not expect is the Mirage. I've already made a video about how the Mirage is not coming, but yet a lot of people still are hyped and hoping that it comes. Well, Sim10AP came around to the forums to confirm it's not coming. To quote from his post, he said, "We have already made it clear that the Mirage is not coming in 1.95. Everyone is extremely well aware of how much people want the Mirage, just like the Lightning and F104. However, the collective want of an aircraft does not speed up the development process. The developers are working extremely hard to bring vehicles that everyone wants, but for now, we have already confirmed the Mirage will not be with this patch." Then he goes on to say some other things. I am very interested if him lumping the Mirage in with the Lightning and the F104 means that those two aircraft are also not going to be in the next patch. The Lightning is apparently being worked on, much like the Mirage is. However, we've only heard really whispers and rumors of the F104, though it would be a great vehicle for many nations as it's a Mach 2 jet that a lot of people used. Later on, Sim10AP made another post in which, in bold underlined letters, the Mirage is not coming in 1.95. So I hope that makes it clear to everyone. I made a few other posts, but I couldn't really get anything out of him besides Gaijin's balancing methods are kind of stupid. Easy anti-cheat is finally rolling around, and Gaijin made an announcement about it, and it kind of matches on how I said it in my last video, is that you don't actually need to have it enabled to launch the game. As it says on the dev blog, enable EAC in advance. We have provided easy anti-cheat for no markers modes and tournaments. Exactly where its help matters more. EAC asked you permission to run when you are entering such battles for the first time. To avoid relaunching the War Thunder game client, make sure to check the box in the game launcher. You are free to do it at any time. That's all. EAC is on. You are allowed to play all battle modes. You also have a note on the article that they are still using their old method, which I'm pretty sure was like just looking at replays and seeing if someone was being too accurate. Really, unfortunately, that's all the information they were really willing to give us. There was a Q&A, but kind of came with the answers you expected, and the questions asked in the comments didn't get good answers. What confuses me most is that I don't have a checkbox to enable EAC on my launcher. Perhaps it's because I'm going through Steam. Maybe they haven't fully rolled it out yet. In the terms of the changelog, all of those data mines that I was talking about last video are actually now in the game, as the changelog states, along with a few other things. Object 685, a bug has fixed with insufficient floating ability. Type 75 SPH. The M107PF shell has had the ability to set the explosion distance manually removed. The explosion initiates with a proximity fuse within 3-meter radius from the target. A surface, tank, aircraft, helicopter. The proximity explosion is only possible if the shell travels a minimum 300-meter distance to enable fuse arming. That's not all the good news for the Japanese, as also the 75mm Type 2 heat armor piercing has been changed from 76 to 90mm. Missile maneuverability has been significantly reduced. In some cases, it was similar to homing missiles. The aiming accuracy of target trackers has been improved. A moving target tracked by such system has now an increased chance of being hit. That's good news. Can't wait to see that in game. Some bombers got their turrets fixed, including the X-38, which is a experimental re-entry vehicle designed by NASA. B-52 confirmed. Gaijin, fix your typos. Turret aiming algorithms have been improved. When changing salvo sides, the turrets start rotating in advance to keep up many firing guns in the sector as possible. The 203mm Mark 19 shell penetration figures have been simplified. Some changes to naval enduring confrontation. Coastal artillery defending ports have received new models, which I believe are those coastal artillery pieces that we saw last video. Hydroplanes, float planes are now able to repair and reload at friendly ports. The repair algorithm for coastal artillery has been fixed. Artillery repairs correctly now. In naval confrontation, aircraft missions now appear later in order to let players gather the correct number of points to select an aircraft. If a team hasn't completed port capture and it is reverted to neutral, respawns will not be active at that location for both teams. There was a bunch of other changes that I didn't really care about going over because they're boring, and a lot of them I actually went over in my last video, as I said in the beginning of this segment. The final bit of news isn't really news, but it's more of my input on the COPPA situation that's going around. If you're unaware, what happened is that back in 1998 or something, the US government decided that companies cannot gather data on children. And that's what COPPA is. Now fast forward many years, and it turns out that YouTube, and probably Google as well, have not been following that rule, and they've been gathering data on children. So the FTC decided to lawsuit them for a lot of money. Probably not a lot in YouTube's eyes. Maybe it was, I don't know. So now YouTube's not allowed to collect data on children. But instead of stopping collecting data on children, they're telling you to not have ads run on videos that would interest children. I'm sure it makes sense when a lawyer says it. So the outcome of it is I and every other YouTuber needs to mark their videos whether they are intended for children or not. And if you are caught lying, saying that your video is not intended for children, even though it is, you could get your channel deleted, or you could pay a very hefty fine to the FTC. Well, actually it would be both. And best of all, YouTube will be going around with some bots deciding whether your content is or isn't for children, because bots never mess up. Now the situation this puts me in, I feel that me and just about any other War Thunder YouTuber are not going to be affected by this, simply because War Thunder is a game rated T, which accounts for people who are 13 and up, and the government views a child or children as people who are 12 and below. Now some other rating systems like PEGI state the game is 12 and up and not 13, though I think that is more of a European thing, so I'm pretty sure I'm fine there. But also, upon that, I'm pretty sure Gaijin has a commercial interest in War Thunder YouTubers continuing to do what they do. So if the FTC was going around lawsuiting them, I would hope that they'd some way get involved. I doubt they'd ever actually go to court for any of us, but they might try to help us in any cases that we find ourselves in. And finally, something that my mom took note of is that anytime YouTube tries to screw over its creators, they never really give us a warning that they're going to do it. They just do it and then tell you afterwards, which makes me wish BitChute was much more of a viable platform. But every cloud has its silver lining. This action will make it so content that's obviously for kids will no longer be commercial viable, which means all those weird Spider-Man and Elsa videos, probably a lot of other annoying content that commonly gets popular on YouTube, will most likely go away, as people who make it won't make nearly as much money. Now my closing story isn't actually a bit of news, it's an awkward transition into thanking my YouTube members. I like them thick, the Royal Rat, Idi Na Hue Sukabliet, Mighty Peppers, Pointless Gun Sinks, and Waffly Joker 6. Thank you very much, all of you. YouTube members get a unique Discord role in my Discord, but they also get to see the video a little bit early before everyone else. If you want to join them, it's $5 a month. All you have to do is press the join button down below. If you have any comments or concerns about this video, you can hit me up in the comments below or on my Discord. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. I make War Thunder Weekly News videos every Sunday. I make random videos throughout the week. I like to stream on Saturdays, and I've been trying to stream on Twitch more, so be sure to follow me there as well. And hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. And in terms of bonus news, I found the 139 T44 that Gaijin used in their image, the skin, and it seems to be lacking a net. That's strange. I guess I could ask this guy if he's made a version of this with a net on it, but I don't get why there would be a net on it when there isn't now. Is Gaijin trying to cover something up because they accidentally leaked something? Again?